you have so many different people that come in and out of this industry for a multitude of different reasons.
Hmm.
And if the number one reason isn't to make other people better, you're in the wrong profession. Like this isn't really a self-seeking, self-loathing profession because it's all about giving to your clientele and
Hmm.
giving to the community that you serve.
So if you're new to my channel, my name is Peter Gordon, and I'm a licensed therapist. I also happen to be a doctoral student working towards a doctorate in clinical psychology. And I also happen to be a life and a health and wellness coach. And I make videos on mental health, fitness, wellness, and everything I hope can help you to lead your most profound life. And while you're here, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as notification bells so that you're notified each week when I post a brand new video. Also, feel free to like this video, comment on it, and all that good stuff. Now, let's get into this quick interview. So, as we approach in the new year with folks um, looking towards your fitness goals, as a former trainer myself, I was always sort of caught up between why some people do well, why some people don't do well with their fitness goals. What mostly from a sort of psychological standpoint. And it's been a few years removed now since I've been actively a trainer, but I'm always sort of enamored and sometimes a bit envious of what I deem master trainers, people that are good at their craft, not just at being able to train people, which I think is the easy part, but be able to motivate them in a way that I think taps into their most profound parts of themselves to reach their fitness goals. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a 3-part interview series, and I'm interviewing what I deem to be 3 master trainers, people again who are very good at their craft. And so I've been watching this brother do his thing on Instagram. I came across him a couple of months ago, and I remember one thing he said was, "Wake your punk ass up." And I'm like, okay, I guess I have a punk ass, but that's okay. But I sort of liked his approach, one, because it was very functional training, but there was also part of it that really was speaking to that part of ourselves. A part of his approach, rather, was about speaking to that part of ourselves that I think is the missing element that gets over that hump in achieving our fitness goals. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me to introduce master trainer, Mr. Michael Myers, sorry. Michael Myers, ooh, Friday the 13th. Michael, I know you've heard that joke before, Mike.
For sure.
Yeah,
Every
yes.
time my name is introduced.
So Michael Myers is based in California. When I watch him on Instagram, he's always doing some very, I would say, unique yet things that make sense. But what I always appreciated about you, Michael, was just your approach to the mental portion of it, right? And so what I want to do is to kind of have you introduce yourself to my little audience here. So tell me a little bit about your fitness journey and what led you down the path of becoming a personal trainer.
So my fitness journey began when I was 12 years old in the 7th grade, going into the 8th grade. And it was basically for football. I played sports my whole entire life. I was a football player. So getting into the weight room, what it did for me psychologically, emotionally, for my confidence was everything.
Were you a skinny
Um,
kid?
I was never really a skinny kid. I
Okay.
was always relatively like built in stature just from genetic code,
Mhm.
but I didn't always feel like I was the strongest kid.
Mhm.
So like I didn't grow up with brothers, older brothers. I had an older sister, so I didn't get a chance to like roughhouse like that in the house with like older dudes other than my pops. So
Mhm.
I've never really had a chance to really test my strengths until
I
I
see.
got inside the weight room, until I got into the football field, and I really stepped into my own being. And
And
I,
that's
I
and that started at age 12.
that started at age 12. Me and my
Mhm.
friends used to break in to the middle school annex to go in there and work out. And I remember just coming out of there with my veins pumped the very first time and somebody being like, "Oh my God, I love your biceps." I knew that this was something that I needed. It's like for my own confidence
Mhm.
and just to be able to perform on the field.
Got it. Got it. So I guess one that sort of you mentioned there about confidence. I guess this question I would ask is, so you've been in the fitness business now for how long?
I've been in the fitness business now going on 13 years,
13 years, so well over a decade.
well over a decade.
So during that time, what has it taught you about yourself? This being in the world, the fitness world for over a decade.
I mean, it's taught me that consistency is always going to be the key. You have so many different people that come in and out of this industry for a multitude of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And if the number one reason isn't to make other people better, you're in the wrong profession. Like this isn't really a self-seeking, self-loathing profession because it's all about giving to your clientele and
Mm-hmm.
giving to the community that you serve. And from giving to your clients and from giving to your community, that should be self-fulfilling within. But if you're going into it, I want to become a star. I want this with the I want mentality. I mean, you're already failing the field because you're doing it for yourself and not for the clients getting better.
Gotcha. So it's really what I'm hearing you say as far as what it's taught you is really about tapping into that part of yourself that wants to serve others.
Yeah, it's really tapped into service, like service before anything, because you have to deal with people's emotions, you have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with people's physical limitations, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to deal with where people are at spiritually and where they're
Mm-hmm.
at mentally. So it's a culmination of everything, getting to them mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And that's what it's taught me. And if you don't have a balance of all four going into your fitness program or going into whatever program you're doing in life, you're
Mm-hmm.
already setting yourself behind and doing yourself a disservice.
Oh, okay, okay, got it, got it, got it, got it. And that's interesting. But if I'm guessing, and because we as humans evolve, as a therapist, sparring psychologist, whatever you want to call it, I'm in the business of watching people evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I imagine that your approach to training has evolved over the years, right? Has it, or are you kind of like, are you still have your certain
So,
fundamentals?
so I definitely have my certain fundamentals that I came into the training game with,
Mm-hmm.
but more so, I've grown into loving my own voice and loving what I stand for and my whole ideology towards fitness
What do you mean
because
loving your?
I've
What do you
been
mean? What do you mean loving your own voice? What do you mean by that?
so I'm loving my voice in the sense of loving the things that I say to people, knowing that I have a genuine and positive effect on people, and not being insecure in my own knowledge or not being insecure in just how people will perceive me. So
Mm-hmm.
I've just became more confident in myself and what it is that I want to give to everybody else.
Mm, got it, got it, got it. So there is a obviously your approach has shifted as you've gotten more confident.
Yeah, for sure. So as I've gotten more confident and as I've grown more in fitness,
Mm,
I've learned that it is not even about the physicality of it at all.
mhm,
Like I tell clients day one, if I can't change your mind and your whole perception on this, I can't do anything for you. Like I could care
mm,
less if I help you lose 20 pounds or help you gain 30 pounds. Because if I can't change what's going on in between your ears and what you're thinking about this whole entire process,
mhm.
what you're thinking about yourself, what you're thinking about the intake on energy, food, and everything else that's around you, then I can't change anything because it is all about the psychology behind it.
Got you.
And that's the biggest thing that I've learned in my 13 years of training.
Right. And then I guess this leads me to a really a nice segue into another question. What do you think, right? Psychologically, from a psychological standpoint, what do you think separates the individuals that can succeed on their fitness journey versus those who do not? Right? Is there like difference that you've noticed over the years?
Discipline.
Discipline.
It's all about the discipline that you have going into it. Okay. And I say discipline as far as eating, discipline as far as working out, discipline as far as recovery, discipline upon what you're consuming into your body on an extracurricular basis, because it is all a culmination of everything. What you put into your body is what you're going to get out of your body. And if you don't have the discipline and you don't have the mindset to overcome adversity, you're never going to be able to succeed.
Mm, got
So
it.
I've kind of indoctrinated this thing called the athlete's mindset. Okay. And an athlete is someone who's able to identify, assess, process, and overcome adversity. And if I can instill those ideas into my clients, I know that I'll be able to get them on the right path to their goals.
I
But
see.
if they have a I can't mentality, the world is against me mentality, woe is me,
Mhm.
the chances of making astronomical changes in your body is slim to none because there's no belief and there's no confidence.
Mm.
But if I can get to you mentally and change your whole mindset going into this whole process, then we set ourselves up for a competitive advantage where we can win
Got it. Got
because
it.
we have belief and we have a firm psychological standpoint to go from.
I see. I see. And then and that's a really I appreciate you saying that. I think there's a with anything there's dedication that's needed, right? And I think that that's the thing that it's one thing that frustrated me when I trained people back in the day was people pay me hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and then but the dedication wasn't there. So it was
Mm-hmm.
basically free money,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously they wouldn't show up. Um, and this is kind of lead, and I mentioned that because this leads me into my next question. Do you think, right? Because we trainers I've seen are often, there's a mindset of just you gotta go balls to the wall and you have to push hard, and it's all effort. That's the mantra that's thrown up there all the time, right? The whole paradigm. You gotta effort, 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 effort.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you think physical effort is more important than mindset, or does having the right mindset far outweigh the physical effort one puts in to reaching their fitness goals?
So physical fitness, I mean, you say physical fitness because there's a physicality aspect behind it, okay?
Mhm. Right.
But we all know that your body is only going to do what your mind allows it to 10 out of 10 times.
Hmm.
Like your body can handle so much more of a load than what our minds can even fathom.
Hmm.
Okay. So if we can put ourselves in the right mindset, then we give ourselves the competitive advantage to do anything physically. And it all starts mentally. Like
Mm,
I'm a huge advocate of the mindset behind everything that we do.
mm,
And if we can't develop an athlete's mindset, if we can't develop a winning mindset, if we can't develop a mindset of I can conquer anything that is going on within my body,
mhm,
we can't do anything
mhm,
because we know that illness all starts within,
mhm,
whether it be mental, whether it be physical. It starts with a thought, and then it just starts to grow bigger, grow bigger, grow bigger until it literally becomes a cancer inside of your body.
mhm. Yeah, you're speaking from a cognitive behavioral therapy standpoint, which is about thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts
Mm-hmm.
have thoughts have power, right? And if
Thoughts have so much power.
yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because the older I've gotten, I joke and I say the fitter I've gotten. And really it's as I got into the world of psychology, I realized I was able to tap into that part of myself. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to sort of phase this down because I know you're a busy man and I don't want to keep you too long on this stuff. So I really appreciate you. If you were to talk to someone right now that comes in and they say, I want to get my fitness game going, and you wanted to say to them, well, before you even tap into the physical aspect of this, I want you to think about some psychological things, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be three things from a psychological standpoint that you think that what do you think for three things from a psychological standpoint that one can do to get success, to have success? I don't want to say guaranteed success because nothing is guaranteed, but to have
Nothing is guaranteed.
some success in their physical fitness journey.
So the first word that's going to come into my mind is discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we all get motivated. We can all listen to a motivational speech. We can read a self-help book,
Mm-hmm.
and that motivation lasts what, 2 days, three
Mm-hmm.
days, a week at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But after motivation comes discipline, and when
Mm-hmm.
you are disciplined and you are consistent and you have a routine, it's almost fail proof.
Mm.
It's almost fail
Even
proof.
more so than the effort. If you're consistent to show up, the effort is important, yes, but you're saying the discipline to show up is perhaps more important than what you do in that
So
moment.
So, I mean, if you're gonna go above and beyond to really gain
Mm-hmm.
a mindset of I will achieve, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
show up, I'm gonna give it 120%.
Mm-hmm.
That's the discipline I'm talking about.
I
So
see.
when you walk into the gym, it's not a matter of just walking into the gym showing up
Hmm.
because you're disciplined enough that you have to show up and show out.
Hmm.
Now, do you have to come in here and tear the house down, tear the roof down every time? Heck no.
Hmm.
But you need to come in here and you have to give 120% from what you need to do on that particular day.
Hmm.
And every day, your 120% can come here, can
I
come
see.
here. But if it's more than just going through the motions,
Hmm.
and you're actually exerting everything that you have for yourself, for your energy level at that day and time, it is a win.
Hmm.
And it's just a matter of compiling win after win, day after day. And that will build your confidence. That will build your mindset because once you get on the scale and you see you're down 5 or you're up 10, depending upon what your goal is,
Hmm.
that gives you the assurance to know that
Hmm.
okay, I'm on the right path. What
Okay.
I'm doing, my discipline, my goals, they're starting to pay off.
Gotcha.
And then we know as being in the training world that we all hit a plateau.
Hmm.
So we've had major success for 2 months, 3 months, and now it's like I feel like things are starting to teeter off. And that's when the discipline really starts to come in
Hmm.
because you've had some wins, you've had some victories,
Hmm.
and now you could become a little bit complacent
Hmm.
because it happens. But where is the discipline that's going to keep you going above and beyond? So, discipline, consistency, and self belief and determination will get you there.
Hmm.
And with the discipline, I'm talking about writing it down,
Hmm.
making a plan for yourself daily. And
Hmm.
when we all know that when you write something physically from pen to paper,
Hmm.
it brings life to it. It brings life to an idea. It brings life and it brings substance to it,
Hmm.
opposed to just, I want to do that or I want to do this, and you're just brainstorming inside of your head. You fall asleep, you wake up, and you're like, what was that thing I was thinking about?
Hmm.
I can't quite get it. But when you're disciplined and you actually have a thought out plan and you can write and you can track your own progress, I mean, that's everything because
Hmm.
it's accountability.
Right. Gotcha. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So I heard discipline for three mindset, psychological mindsets:
Mhm.
discipline,
Consistency
consistency,
and self belief.
self-belief. Gotcha. And you said and got discipline. I'm sorry, discipline, consistency, and self-belief. You've got to have those
Yes.
three key elements from a psychological standpoint.
From a
Mm,
psychological standpoint, those are
yeah.
everything.
And it's
Those are
interesting.
everything.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You said something there. One thing you said, I'm not sure if you remembered, you said, hey, you know, if you have this discipline and the consistency to show up, what you'll find is even when you may have an 80% day, you're giving 100% of that 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the discipline to give what you have that day.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent,
Exactly.
the belief in self to give what you have that day.
Mm-hmm.
The
Because I mean,
consistency.
every day you're not going to come into the gym and drop 40 points. Every game is
Absolutely.
not going to be a triple double.
Right.
Like it's just not. It's
But
not
you have to show up.
sustainable. But you have to show up. So you could drop 25, 5, and 3
Hmm.
and still get a win.
Right.
And then you can have a game you come in there and drop 45, 10, and 13. And then it's like, wow. But that's not the standard.
Right.
That was a great day.
Right.
But between that 40-point game and that 20-point game, what? You fall somewhere in between, you're at 28 to 30.
Right. Right. It's a very similar to thing when we do in therapy with patients. We say, you may start here from a functioning standpoint. You may take two notches up and you're here. You will eventually have those fallback days where you drop down one, but you're not
Mm-hmm.
back to the bottom place here. You're still above that place and you keep moving along. So it's the consistency to keep moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like I have the luxury of having a degree in child psychology
Hmm.
that helps me bring all of these things
Hmm.
to my training on a
Yeah.
daily basis because I have to get in people's minds before I can get into their body. And I have to know my athlete because
Right.
I consider myself a coach, not a trainer.
I see.
So I'm gonna be your coach in every phase of life that you need me. And when I know my athlete, when I can see by their demeanor, when I can just see by their body language what they're really going through,
Hmm.
I know what type of coach I need to be for them on that particular day because it's
Hmm.
always going to vary. People's energies and temperaments are always going to vary. And like I started the whole conversation with is it's not about me.
Hmm.
It's not about my own ego. It's not about what I see in them. It's about what I know I can bring out of them on that particular day. And some days I win, some days I lose.
Right.
But as long as my wins outweigh my losses, I'm putting myself in a good space, and I'm providing my clients with everything that they need.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, Michael Myers, I'm not going to make the joke. I'll leave it alone. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Before I go, though, I love to hear how can people connect with you? I imagine you have online stuff as well, or do you just do mostly in person?
Yeah, so I do a majority of my stuff in person,
I see.
but you can definitely catch me online on Instagram at Michael Myers Fit.
Mm-hmm.
I post a lot of my workouts and stuff on there.
I'll
In the
put links. I'll put links below. So let's keep talking. Yeah. So Michael
Perfect.
Myers
And
Fit on
then
Instagram.
Michael Myers Fit on Instagram, michaelmyersfit.com. Then this new year, I'm going to be rolling out with three different programs. I'm going to have a women's program launching. I'm going to have a beginner program launching for all genders.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to have like a strong, like what I do. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
put a program out like that for the advanced and the people who really want to go out there and get after it. And it's all going to be relatively affordable. It's not going to be a crazy expensive program, just something that you can download,
Mm-hmm.
follow along, and just keep up with me.
Fantastic, fantastic. So
Also,
oh,
also,
go
I
ahead,
have one
please.
more
Yes,
thing. I'm also on this app called Fit, FIIT. It's
FIIT.
actually, yeah, it's FIIT. So there's there's about 50 different trainers on there. I
Mm-hmm.
know me personally, I have about 80 different workouts on there,
Mm-hmm.
and they go from 10-minute to 45-minute classes. I'm doing the whole thing with you.
Mm-hmm.
The app is the number one fitness app in the UK, and they just launched out here in the States in January of this year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's relatively new over here, but the workouts and production is crazy. And check that out. Again, the app is called Fit.
Fit, fantastic. So you can find Mike on this amazing app called Fit, FIIT. Of course, I'll put a link down below here. Fit. You can also find you at michaelmyersfit.com, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you're also on Instagram at Michael Myers Fit, right?
Yes, sir.
Great, fantastic. And so if you're in the LA area, want to reach out to my guy, hit him on all those various platforms, able to reach him and connect with him in person. Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure. And keep doing what you're doing, and keep motivating and inspiring. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Great. There you have it, folks. Thank you again. I hope this made sense to you. Look out for part 2 coming soon. Should be another great conversation. But before you go, if you want to check out some of my other videos, click any of these 2 boxes right here, or feel free. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button by clicking my face right there. Stay well, family.